Hello, winos. Welcome to the short pour. So, in our most recent episode, we talked about ability bias. We had promised an episode that was focused on our employees and friends that are differently abled than most of society. And we are calling it the bias because most of us are biased either in favor of or towards having the quote unquote normal abilities and not having to think about challenges that people may face who do have either physical or mental limitations. So that was the focus of our episode. But in the short pour, before we get to the meat of the episode and what stuck with us, we have to get to the WINE. So, Trisha, did you like, loathe, or love your wine this episode?
I loved it. So this was a great time for me to be able to really talk about the wine. It's been a while since I've done a red zin, and so I got to do a red zin this time. It was Predator. If anyone's ever tried Predator, you know what I'm talking about. They are sustainable. They're wonderful. They have this cute little ladybug that we think, oh, how sweet. But it turns out that ladybugs are predators. So check out the wine. Julie, what about you? What did you think?
I also loved my wine. I was drinking an Etna Rosato from the Etna region of Italy, which is the volcanic region. So we know that I love those. Lovely. I would, hands down, drink this a million times over. So, okay. So, again, we focused on ability bias and what HR professionals need to be cognizant of when they are interviewing candidates, scheduling company functions, and also evaluating people for performance, reviews, promotions, etc., etc. So, Trisha, what either stuck with you the most or struck you the most out of everything we discussed in that episode?
I really actually want to, because we always talk about retention, and so for me, the focus that I want to talk about are the company functions. I am always aware, and I think most people are aware of trying to of their biases, I guess I should say, when it comes to, or maybe they aren't, Julie, when it comes to hiring or when it comes to promotions and things like that. But I think when it comes to the day-to-day, we forget to be inclusive. And so it was our discussion about company functions and making sure that the functions that we choose are friendly for everyone, that we're really kind of picking up the rock, so to speak, and flipping it around, looking at all sides and saying, okay, does this make sense for everyone? Is this an inclusive event? Will someone need an accommodation to participate? Will they feel comfortable asking for an accommodation to participate? So I think that was one of my favorites, because I really focus on retention a lot this year. It's kind of like my focus with my clients, and so for me, that's the one that struck the biggest chord. What about you?
Well, first, I also want to just tease this out there that I shared a really embarrassing story from my own
I wasn't gonna
past.
say it.
So, if you want to hear the juicy details, you got to tune into the full episode. But I think it was actually something that Brenna said, which is that, we just really need to make and create space for those of us who are differently abled to exist and be included, and also be seen as we always say, valued, appreciated, and heard. Because I think a lot of times, particularly with disability, and we shared a whole lot of stats that back this up, but we tend to sort of write people off or place them in certain buckets, and we place limitations on them that they may not actually have because of our biases. And I think it's so important to give them the space to exist and to have those conversations with them. And again, we do have to be careful and mindful about managers having conversations with um, disabled individuals, because there are things along those lines that we can talk to you more about, but you do have to be careful. But HR can have those conversations, and you can go to people and you can say, we want to make sure that you're feeling included. So if there's anything that we can do to better support you, if there's anything that we can do to better accommodate you, we want to know what that is if you're willing to share it with us. And just making sure that they understand that we're seeing them as a whole person and not just as whatever that disability is labeled as.
Julie, I think that's a beautiful point. And I also want to remind people, you don't need to be perfect, right? You do not need to be perfect, but you need to be prepared. You need to be consistent. You need to be present. You need to be really thinking about, hey, we don't have to do it this way because it's always been done this way. So really think about what your playbook is. Design it for access first. Look at your job related criteria, train your decision makers, and really respond quickly to those accommodation requests. I think that really is one of my other big, even though we didn't say specifically those things in the actual episode, that is one of the big takeaways for me.
Absolutely. And I think just in general, we want to make sure that people who are differently abled understand that, again, we see them as an entire person. That's not the be all and end all of who they are or what they're capable of or what they are able to accomplish. And so I think the other thing that was most important for me, for our listeners to know, is that when we are having conversations around somebody who has asked for an accommodation or who has disclosed that they have a disability, and anybody seems to make a comment that shows that there might be some bias at play, that we stop in the middle of that conversation and we just say, okay, I want to better understand what you're saying right now. And we gave some questions that you can ask to kind of flesh out whether that is a bias related comment or whether there's a legitimate concern. And we give you the resources in the show notes as always. But I think all of those are important things to consider, because again, we want the full picture and we want people to feel included, and not that they are seen as a disabled person, but just someone who happens to have some limitations that maybe other people don't have.
I love the way you even said it before. It's not disabled, it's differently abled.
Yeah. And on that note, we're going to cheers, and we are going to kindly ask you to subscribe wherever you get your podcast. Download the episode, because for some reason that makes a difference. Follow us on social, and, join us next time, because we love you. Cheers.
Love you. Cheers.